got to turn the mic on.
On the
mic on. Yeah.
There we go. Yep, we got it.
That's good. Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Sneed, the athletic director here at Roanoke Rapids High School. And on behalf of the RRHS athletic program, I would like to welcome you all to this beautiful day to honor this lovely woman that we have here. Is that better? There we go. When they first approached me about naming this field after a former coach, I said, man, the Tim Bennett practice football facility has a nice ring to it. And then they said, no, we want to name it after the Carleen Goodwin softball field. I said, Carleen, really? Sorry, Mr. Goodwin, you know I had to start off with a joke for you there. Anybody, we all know Carleen. We all know her. We know her infectious personality, her smile, that laugh. That's what draws us all into her. When I first came here as a freshman at RHS, a short little bowl-cut freshman, we had all heard about Coach Goodwin. And even though she wasn't my teacher, back then we know we had Coach Curtis as the male PE teacher, Coach Goodwin as the female PE teacher. But it didn't take long to know why people loved Miss Goodwin. She was stern but fair. But in a time before the phrase building relationships was popular in academics and education, we students here knew how much Miss Goodwin loved us, and we knew that no matter what, she wanted nothing but success in whatever field we went into. And then when I left here as an alumnus, I was lucky enough to come back as a teacher and coach. And that's when I even got to know Carleen even better and found out even more how special she really was to us. As a mentor, always there with great advice for me as a teacher and a coach. As a leader by example, because anybody that's ever known her knows the hard work, the dedication, the leadership that she showed day in, day out on this campus cannot be matched. She is truly one of a kind. And I can tell you this, it is a true pleasure to stand in front of you today as we honor her. Because as well, she may not be an alumnus of RHS, but she is truly the epitome of the phrase, once a jacket, always a jacket. Miss Goodwin, we are here to honor you today. I love you. I could not think of a better person to be standing up here to name something out on this campus. And you just see you not touch just me, but everyone out here. Look at this crowd. This is all for you. Thank you for all you've done for us. And soak it all in, Miss Goodwin, because you have truly earned this. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry to get started. I'll be quiet so we can get going because there's plenty of other great people that want to speak today. But at this time, can we all rise, remove headgear for the playing of our national anthem? And once that's done, please stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's an honor to be here today and be a part of Coach Carleen Goodwin softball field dedication ceremony. It just feels right, and I'm very happy for you, Coach. I could not think of a more deserving person than Coach Goodwin for this recognition. She is someone that bleeds black and gold and has put so much of herself into teaching and coaching at Roanoke Rapids High School for 30 plus years. I had the pleasure of working with Coach Goodwin for 18 years. So many good memories. So many stories I wish I had time to tell. I can't thank her enough for taking an interest in me and being a mentor to me and so many others during my time here. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that my boys Drew and David thought so much of Coach Goodwin and thought of her as their school mom, and they love you like we all do. And they wish they could be here, and also Kim's back in New Bern. So Coach Goodwin was an inspiration to so many colleagues, coaches, and student athletes during her career. She was not only a coach, but a loyal friend to so many. She would do anything for you. A lot of times you didn't know that she had gone out of her way to do something for you because she never wanted any recognition. Today is your day. You can't hide. She could also be tough. If you didn't do something the way she wanted you to do it, you knew it. She had high expectations for all of us and demanded excellence from everyone around her. Words like dedication, caring, humble, honest, funny, respectful come to mind when I think of Coach Goodwin. But two words, work ethic, is her legacy. Her work ethic was unmatched in getting the Coach Carleen Goodwin softball field ready for play each spring. She had so much pride along with her assistant coaches in making sure her team had the best playing surface and field that our young ladies played on all season. It was her passion. I've never been around a coach that enjoyed working on their field more than she did. During the spring sports season, it wasn't unusual to see the lights on after practice and the coaches and players working on the field. During the weekends, I would ride by school and see Coach Goodwin dragging the field, cutting the grass, getting ready for the next week. And one thing about her players, they knew how to hold a rake, and they knew how to do the extra stuff that made a program extra special. I do want to mention that there was more than wins and losses for Coach Goodwin in the Roanoke Rapids softball program. The young ladies that played for her were taught many life lessons during their playing careers. Life lessons such as being on time, attention to detail, sportsmanship, teamwork, commitment, effort, pride, responsibility, respect, and hustle were reinforced each day. She loved coaching the game and made sure her players played the game the right way. In closing, thank you, Julie Thompson, and the Board of Trustees for making this a reality. To me, Coach Goodwin is one of those treasures that in my 18 years at Roanoke Rapids, getting to know her, she always had my back. She had her players' back. She just, I miss talking to her. Wish she'd answer her phone sometimes, like you all do. But just a special person. So congratulations, Coach Goodwin. Job well done.
Hi everyone. There are a lot of people here today that I do know, but for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Paige Lockerman Whitcomb. I first just wanted to say thank you to all the people who have helped make this softball field dedication happen. I know it's been in the works for a long time, and that so many people have contributed their time and energy to help make it a reality. Thank you to everyone who wrote letters of support and who helped organize and plan today's dedication. The way everyone in this town rallies around each other for support is really a wonderful example of what makes Roanoke Rapids a special place and what makes RRHS a place I'm proud to be a graduate from. I grew up here in Roanoke Rapids, and I went to Roanoke Rapids High School from 2007 to 2011. And that is where I met Carlin Goodwin. It was my first day of high school, and I sat down in my PE health class, and she was calling out roll that day. And when she got to my name, she just looked up at me and smiled. She taught both my mom and dad, Todd and Melanie Lockman, when they were in high school. So she knew who I was, and she proceeded to tell everyone in the classroom that her middle name is also Paige, and that my parents must have named me after her. And while the jury is still out on whether or not that is true, it would be an honor to be named after Carlin Paige Goodwin, and I'm glad this softball field is getting that honor today. After our initial encounter on my first day of school, I continued to get to know Coach Goodwin for the rest of that year. She made me laugh every single day in class, and she encouraged me during our PE activities, and she also played pranks on us a lot. I recall once that she ran into the PE locker room with bloody hands, yelling and screaming for us to help her, and after causing a room full of ninth graders to go into full chaotic panic mode, she started laughing, and that's when we realized it was ketchup on her hands. She also had us write a letter to ourselves at the beginning of ninth grade, and I imagine she did this with many of her classes over the years. She had us write down, "Dear me, this year is going to fly by. The next 4 years are going to fly by." I think about that often because I know she was trying to emphasize to us that the moments in our lives really do fly by, and she wanted us to notice them and enjoy them. She wanted us to make the most out of high school and out of our lives in general. And that's one of the reasons why in my second year of high school, during Spirit Week, when we had a day called Dress as a Superhero Day, I dressed as Coach Goodwin. The way she lives her life has taught me, and I know many others, the importance of finding laughter and joy in each day, being present, and appreciating each moment while knowing that time passes way too quickly. And that makes her one of my superheroes. I also learned a lot from Coach Goodwin over the years by getting to have her as my coach on the softball team. She taught me a lot about hard work, about always giving my best and always giving my best effort. And it was easy to try and give 100% in everything I did because I had her as an example to strive for. She provided us with so many fun softball memories over the years. There were amazing in-game moments, times and practices where she helped me believe I could do something that I didn't think I could. There were fun bus rides, and of course there were pranks. Once I remember she showed up to softball practice and she was in a really bad mood, but we didn't know why. She blew her whistle and screamed for us to line up on the foul line. And at that point we didn't know what we had done, but we knew we'd done something wrong and that we were definitely in big trouble. So we all lined up, prepared to run, and instead of yelling at us to run, she shouted, 3, 2, 1, it's time for the Easter egg hunt. We were all so nervous we hadn't even seen all of the Easter eggs scattered across the entire outfield. I have so many memories from my time with Coach Goodwin as my softball coach, but the final memory I want to share today, and the most impactful memory I have of Coach Goodwin, is actually when I came to her a couple of months before softball season my senior year and told her that I was thinking of running track instead. I had been debating what to do for a while, and while I felt I could best use my skill set on the track team, I loved playing softball for Coach Goodwin, and I didn't want to let her down. As I talked with her and explained how I was feeling, I was really worried what she would say, but when I told her, she just hugged me and she told me she was proud of me. We both cried during that talk, but I will never forget how she listened to me in that moment. She told me she knew it wasn't easy for me to have that conversation with her and that I didn't need to worry because she would always care about me and support me. It was a moment that has helped define who I am, and it's helped me to be brave in other situations since then. And though the years have continued to fly by, I think of that conversation often. Coach Goodwin, you have been a very important part of my life, and I'm so thankful for the ways that you've helped shape me. You have done the same for countless other people throughout their time at RRHS, and every corner of the school has your touch on it. Your loyalty, dedication, and passion for this school is hard to match, and you've impacted so many of us here today, on and off the softball field. You took pride in being Roanoke Rapids High School's softball coach, and it was obvious at every practice, every game, and even on days where there were no practices or games, when you could still be found here taking pride in this softball field and wanting it to be the very best that it could be. And with your name on it now, you have officially made this field the very best that it can be. So thank you for everything. We love you.
I knew when I saw Paige's name in front of me that was going to be tough to follow. For those of you that don't know, my name is Chris Hines. I'm the head football coach here at Roanoke Rapids High School, and I was a student here. Me and Paige actually graduated together from 2007 to 2011. And kind of like Mark Sneed was saying, the relationship, building relationships with students, that's kind of what I'm here to do, or here to talk about. Ms. Goodwin didn't coach me. I didn't play softball, but she was my ninth grade health and PE teacher, and we fell in love with each other in the classroom that way. So I was trying to think of how I wanted to start my speech off, and I couldn't think of any better line than, man, I love me some Ms. Goodwin. Like I said, I had her for health and PE, and I was her right-hand man for my ninth grade year. I would come in, back then we had 6 classes, and I would come in to 6th period, and Ms. Goodwin, Chris, we have this to do today. I said, yes ma'am, let's do it. And I look forward to it every day. I look forward to helping her out, and anything she needed, I would do it. And you know, being a teacher and coach myself, it's really hard to find young people that know how to work and have a good work ethic. I was given the task of making this field look presentable about 2 weeks ago, and I have a landscaping class of 14 young men, and if you wanted to ride by when that class was out here, it was me raking and it was them standing around talking. That's pretty much how it was going on. So, you know, one of the maintenance guys said, Coach, you're doing it wrong. They're supposed to be doing the work. I said, yeah, well, if you want it done right, you do it yourself. So, you know, you kind of like the kids. You're not supposed to like kids any more than other kids, but you like the kids that work hard and do what they're supposed to do, and the ones that you can trust and give them a job and they get done right. And I can say that Ms. Goodwin liked me a little bit more than the rest of the kids. As far as our relationship, I would compare our relationship to a grandma and a grandson. I'm not calling you old. I don't mean that like that. You know, everybody knows there's no better relationship than a grandma and a grandson, and that's our relationship. She's so funny, whether on purpose or not. And I've got a great story on that. You know, I was thinking about which story I want to tell from high school, and you know, the one thing I do hate is I hate that I haven't been able to work with you, because I can only imagine how much fun that is. Getting to work with some of the past teachers that I had as adults now, and getting to have adult conversations with them, and it's just, I can't imagine what that would have been like. But the story I chose, instead of choosing one from high school, I chose one from probably 4 or 5 months ago. I saw Miss Goodwin. She came up here, and I was cutting the game field, and that might have been 2 summers ago, I can't remember. And I was cutting the game field, and she came down, and we had a good conversation about coaching and how difficult it is. And you know, she was giving me some tips and stuff, and she told me that she had some Roanoke Rapids gear for me that she wanted to give me. And I said, okay, if you don't mind, just leave it on my desk. And so when I got done cutting the game field, I went inside, and I had a couple shirts on my desk, and I had a note on my desk. And the note basically just said how much she loved me and how proud of me she was. And she wrote the note on a paper towel and in Sharpie. So when I go, and I'm sorry, Ms. Goodwin, it was a great note, but I was just going to throw it away. I had a nice moment, and I smiled, and I was just going to throw it away. And when I picked the note up, there the note is still on my desk in permanent Sharpie marker. So every day I come to my office, I think of Miss Goldman. I see something to think of her. Yeah, you didn't even do that on purpose, I know. Funny on purpose. She's such a good person, such a good teacher. Like I said, I didn't have her as a coach, but I know she was a great coach. Being a head coach is really, really hard, especially when you're dealing with 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids. And God, you love them, but they're just difficult to deal with on certain days. And when I say certain days, I mean all days. So for her to do this for 20, 30 years is just remarkable, and I envy her, and I respect her so much. And the last thing I was going to leave it with is, as Mark Sneed said, Coach Sneed said, this is the football practice field from June to November. So if you're a football coach, you spend most of your time here. This is where we practice for 2.5 hours every day, cutting it, lining it, all the good things that come with being the football coach. And so I hope to have a long and successful career here at Roanoke Rapids, but it does my heart a lot of good to know that every day that I step on the practice field, no matter how hot it is in August or how cold it is in November, or how bad our record is or whatever's going on, that, you know, I'll look at that sign walking through that gate, and I'll see Miss Goodwin's Field or Goodwin Field, and I'll have a second of, you know, just thinking of my friend and thinking of our relationship together. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna end it on that. Miss Goodwin, I love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I don't know how many more speeches I'm going to need to say for Carleen Goodwin, but hopefully this is the main one that counts, because we're getting this field named for her, and we're so proud of it. But I'd like for all of Carleen's past softball players to stand up. If you were a manager, helper, even volleyball player, okay, we'll take you. I just want her to see. Okay, back there is Cannon. I don't know if you see her. You better step up, y'all. Step up. Dixie, she can't see y'all. Come on, step on up. Okay, so that she can see y'all. She didn't think anybody would come, so I assured her. But girls, I just want to say welcome back to your second home. You spent a lot of time here. Your parents spent a lot of time here. Your grandparents spent a lot of time here. And any neighbor you could drag here spent a lot of time here. And this Roanoke Rapids High School softball field soon will be named the Goodwin Field. I'm Patty Little, but I'm also known as Carleen's co-worker, friend, chaperone on the bus. When we pick her up in Rocky Mount so she wouldn't have to drive here, so chaperone on the bus, concession stand worker with Sue, switchboard operator at midnight when Carleen and Lynn would redo the game, play by play by play. So recently, Aubrey saw her, and we called Carleen up, and it was like 9:30. She said, "Isn't it too late to call Carleen up?" Oh no, not too late. And you know, all of us together as a family did work for the softball program. I mean, we had Carleen, she had list, we did her list, and it all came. Okay, so I am so tickled that I desire to name this field for Coach Goodwin, from Lynn, Randy Wren, and myself, has finally come to fruition. It's been long overdue. Back in 1981, Carleen was instrumental in making sure Roanoke Rapids High School followed the Title IX guidelines for the female athletes at school. She came out here with the maintenance director, who told her, yeah, we're gonna have a little bench here, rinky dink, a little bench here, rinky dink, and she was like, oh no. She wanted her girls' field to measure up what the all-star field looked like, not something rinky-dink. So that was back there in 1981. Carlene spent her own money. She spent many hours of her own time on and off the season, weekends and summers, pouring her blood, sweat, and tears into the softball program in this field. She made sure the softball field was a positive reflection of the softball team, Roanoke Rapids High School, and our community. Coach Goodwin washed and hung up uniforms late at night, midnight. She would not leave here if she even did leave here. Before the uniforms were washed, she probably slept on the couch in her office. She sowed grass, she cut grass, she picked up rocks, and I know a lot of you girls picked up rocks. made you part of this field, pride. She painted the building inside and out with Sandy and Lynn. They played a joke on him one time. One of them acted like they were hurt and he needed to paint and he didn't like to paint. But as soon as Lynn started painting, they unwrapped the arms. So they got to paint. She laid tile in these, April Fool, laid tile in these bathrooms. She cut out and printed those huge Yellow Jacket wooden emblems that you see all around campus. She cut out the wood and she painted them. And she did countless other projects that we just don't even know about. She did a lot of behind the scenes work and we just don't ever know. She always had a honey-do list. And this softball field facility was the envy of all the schools in the conference. Carlene spent her entire career making a difference for the individuals that attended Roanoke Rapids High School, and especially with the girls that she coached. For a person like Carlene, there were no small things, just things that needed to get done. I can't begin to tell you how happy and proud I am right now to know that this softball field is finally going to be dedicated to Coach Carlene Page Goodwin. And as a guest register kind of deal, we've got some softballs. Two of them are right here. She has a softball over there. Please sign the softball because that's our guest register today. So if you haven't already, please sign the softballs. And Carlene, I love you.
Okay, they saved the best for last here. I will tell you my speech is going to be short because I had an outline to go by, and I think my wife lost it or threw it away. Okay, but I got a couple little stories I want to tell you. One is, my name's Lynn Little. I coached with her probably, 20 years, I guess, 24 years, okay? I can remember prom always came up during softball season. All right, we give them girls off prom night, prom day, so they could get their hair made up or their makeup, even though we thought they looked fine in a uniform, so. All right, but the day before, at the end of practice, we'd meet right over there, and she said, okay, the prom's tomorrow night, you go out, have fun, enjoy yourself, but remember one thing, make memories, not babies. And I have remembered that, and I know she knew where I was going with that, so I do know that she knew that, okay? But what I want to relate it to is, she give me memories too, of this ball field and the other softball fields across the state, okay? So that's one thing I want to get across to you, okay? That we had some fond memories, I had some funny memories. I'm not going to mention names, but we even had a parent of a ball player moon us on the bus. And I'll say the good thing about that is we had just won a ball game. It was an away ball game. And the girls acted a little uppity because they won, right? And Goodwin come on the bus, and I don't know if you remember this, Coach, but she gave them a speech about being ladylike. Please be ladylike, win, lose, or draw, act your age, and be ladylike. Well, this parent was downstairs, outside the bus. They did not hear this. She walked up in the bus and said, good game, and turned around, mooned the whole team. Now, I was driving, so she was a little bit behind me. I just got half a moon. That was not the only funny thing that we've had. We had a lot of good times together, okay? And in finishing, I do want to say a couple things. We're missing assistant coach Jimmy Evans that was here for 15 to 17 years. Him and Sue were both very instrumental in the success of this program. Jimmy just happened to be passed away recently. I know he's up there doing what's going on now. So with that, Sue, wherever you are, I know you're here somewhere. I appreciate all you did. And I played a many a softball game with Jimmy, fast pitch softball game with Jimmy, even up to when I was 40. I was pitching for a team in Emporia, and he was playing with me. So with that, I just wanted to mention that we do miss him, and I regret he's not here. And that is all I really have to say. I want to thank everybody for being here, and it is a pleasure naming this field after Coach Goodwin because she deserves it.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Thompson, and I'm honored to be serving as the superintendent of Roanoke Rapids Graded School District. On behalf of the school district and our board of trustees, I want to thank everyone for their tremendous support that you have shown by coming to celebrate this important day of naming our softball field and recognizing an extraordinary person. Our new district motto is "Together we succeed," and this softball field dedication shows just that. As many people have put in countless hours of planning, hard work, and financial support to make today a reality. I will forever be grateful to Lynn and Patty Little and Randy Wren. Over the summer, unknown to either one of them, Lynn and Patty contacted me, and Mr. Wren contacted Mr. Davis, our Roanoke Rapids High School principal, with this idea. And before our board voted, dozens of former athletes, students, and colleagues wrote letters and emails to share their support of this idea. I want to thank Mr. Wren for sharing his equipment and for the field dedication sign that we're getting ready to present. But let's face it, none of us would be here today without having our lives positively touched by our special honoree. Carlene Page Goodwin spent 31 years of her career in education as a physical education and health teacher and coach here at Roanoke Rapids High School, which she called her second home. During these years, she earned the respect and admiration of her fellow peers and students with her wonderful sense of humor, her down-to-earth demeanor, and her dedication to the PE department, the athletic department, and the Monogram Club. Not only did she care for her students and teach them important life lessons, like Lynn just reminded us of.
PE and health.
PE and health, that's right. But seriously, she also deeply cared for her colleagues. She was a mentor and a friend to many of us. When times were going well, she always had something funny to say. And if you're around here, you know that her roasting skills were legendary. But when times were hard, she showed up and she listened. Often with food and always with a hug. Her students and her colleagues knew that they could count on Coach Goodwin. When the Row Rap yearbook was dedicated to her in 2009, it noted that Coach Goodwin found her way to Roanoke Rapids High School when we needed a girls basketball coach. And when she started, her now beloved softball field was merely a field of grass and dirt. During the 31 years she spent here, she coached varsity volleyball, varsity basketball, varsity slow pitch softball, and varsity fast pitch softball. She started our first female volleyball team here at the high school, and she also started new traditions that we still carry on, like our annual homecoming powder puff game. Coach Goodwin was named the fast pitch coach of the year 3 times during her career and led her team to 2 conference championships. She received the Homer Thompson Memorial 8 Who Make a Difference Award, which is presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association because of her dedication to her student athletes and her exemplary sportsmanship. Coach Goodwin was called a trailblazer for the female student athletes at the high school when she was inducted into the Roanoke Rapids High School Athletic Hall of Fame in 2016. and I argue that she's also a trailblazer for her colleagues and those of us who are blessed to learn professionally from her. Simply put, Carleen Goodwin is one of a kind. Our board policy 9300 states that the board considers naming facilities to be a significant endeavor, since the name of a facility can reflect upon the students, staff, school system, and community. One of the criteria is that the name may be in honor or memory of an individual who has helped students in this school system succeed through financial contributions or educational leadership. Reading the many letters of support for Coach Goodwin, and personally having had the honor and pleasure of teaching with her at Roanoke Rapids High School, I know that our board policy has been fulfilled. Through her leadership, Coach Carleen Paige Goodwin exemplified our vision and mission by building opportunities and fostering community for her students to succeed on this very field of play that she so loved and so painstakingly cared for, as well as positively impacting the educational and social development of many young athletes, students, and colleagues through her energy and selfless commitment to a job well done. At this time, on behalf of Roanoke Rapids Graded School District, we would like to officially dedicate this softball field to Coach Carleen Paige Goodwin. From now on, the field will be known as Goodwin Field.
I do not know what to say. Seeing all you here and giving up your time. Some of you, one of my ball players came up and said, Miss Goodwin, I drove here last night from Kentucky just to say I'm here to see you. And I went, I'm not worthy of this. You should have kept going, like, go to Florida, Disney World. And in the last 2 days, today, seeing all the players have brought back so many memories. It's like I got a recording tape runs. When I see one of you, I go, I remember you. I remember you throwing down a glove during a game. The ball was hit over her head, and I don't want to name names because it may embarrass her. But the ball was hit, climbing, and of course you turn around and back up. Well, she took her glove and just threw it at the ball. And I went, and I was young. I had just started my career here. And I went, I did not see what I think I saw. It was a away game. And I called timeout and looked at the umpire and proceeded to walk on the field all the way to the outfield where she was playing at. And I looked around real close to be sure nobody was near us. And I said, Lisa? Oh. I'm sorry, Lisa. If you ever do that again, during a game, I will kick your from one end of this field to the other. I said, do you hear me?
Yeah. And I said, if you say that I said this to you, I will deny it all the way. Little did I know that Lisa was the beginning. Years later, here comes one of her kids. And I'm, oh my God. And then here comes another one. And I thought Lisa was a handful. But this other one that came from Kentucky, I earned my money. And I can sit here and tell stories all day long about each kid I'm seeing, well, each adult now. It's amazing when they come up and say, Miss Goodwin, and I'm looking at them as a ball player when I hear. You know, Dissy was here today, and I can see Dissy right now at second base hustling, and that's what I see. And Dissy was talking about, well, I got, 3 or 4 children now. Like, you got children?
One's right out behind you.
A band person. And anyhow, I can have a story, and I really do a disservice by singling out Lisa. But each one of you have a story in my heart. I can look at you, and as soon as I'm talking here, I can say, Stephanie, thank you for pitching that game. She wasn't a pitcher. But the day before the game practice, my starting pitcher decided to skip practice and go to the beach. And I couldn't let her play the next day. And of course I got a lot of input from parents. You cannot bench her. You're punishing the whole team. And I remember Coach Little and I spent many hours.
We won that game, though.
Yeah. Saying that, she's got to sit. And so before the game, we kept thinking like, who's going to pitch? Who's going to pitch? And we were doing the starting lineup and got to Stephanie Cannon. And I went position, and I always use numbers. I went position 1, and she goes, I'm not a pitcher. I went, you are today. Stephanie pitched her heart out, and it was a state playoff game, and we won that game. It was a major upset, and I thank you. And there's stories like this all day long. I can get to each one of you. I see you, Tracy Reader. I mean, the stories and memories that you have given to me, that are here, and they're here forever. And I'm so blessed to have these stories, to share, reminisce over them. I'm so appreciative. But the other thing I want to get to, Lynn and Patty, thank you for those kind words, all these kind words. Superintendent, I'll send you a little check in the mail. But I guess I need to go by, and I know you're tired and you're hot, but this is my day. Every time I had a question about this event, Superintendent Thompson, I said, what about this? What about the dress code? Are we, dressing up and saying, Coach, this is your day, you decide. And then later on I had another question to Mandy Clark, Coach, this is your day. I soon realized the power that I had for this one day. So I am absorbing it. But anyway, back in 1981 is when I came to Roanoke Rapids. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. But they asked me, I was doing basketball. I was brought here to do basketball, and basketball was my love. And I said, Mr. Brant said, you got to do softball. And I went, well, okay, if I got to do it, I'll do it, And so, and I kept I would come out and look. I said, where is the field at? Because if you come out of the gym, and back in those days, there was a street back here, and it was just a grassy field with a circle around it, that once a year they would take a state ply and ply the circle. No fencing, no nothing. I said, what is this piece of land? This is a track field. I said, track field? I said, where's my softball field? Well, you gotta go 4 blocks down the road. At Acres. And I went, so it started off there. And then in 1985, by the power of many booster clubs, Patty Ray and Richard Ray. Patty, do you remember this? They said we gotta have the field for the girls. So in 1985, with Patty Ray and Richard Ray and Charles Tant, he was the president of the, I call it the Booster Club. I think it's called now the Sports Club. They created the field, put the fence up. You know, we had some bitches to sit on, and that was a softball field. And I was so proud of this. You know, it was the start of a dream, a thought that I had. And we were going along, and some years later, I don't remember the year, but then the principal came to me, Michelle Lockers, as a matter of fact, and said, Colleen, I hate to tell you, but we're going to tear you a field down. I went, what? Yeah, we're building a new science and math building over here, and we need the softball field for a construction site. And I remember the day that I was standing at the back of the gym, and back then I had a storage building. We had bathrooms, concessions over here, and I watched that bulldozer put the blade down and just push everything up. And within 5 minutes, it was all gone. And I thought to myself, they don't know how many hours that was spent, how much money was raised, the lights came down, everything. Because it now was a construction zone. And it broke my heart. And they said, well, you know, it's going to be put back. It's going to be put back. As soon as we finish building the building, you know, we'll have it back. So for the next couple of years, we were playing ball at Emory Park, across town. And then finally we came back home to here at Roanoke High School. And I remember the man that I met, the layout design of the field, you know, he said, well, we're going to design the field back like you want it. And I remember I walked out here to the pitching plate, and I said, this is where I want home plate to be. And he said, are you crazy? I went, no. He goes, what are you going to do for all this area back here? And I went, well, I'm going to have bleachers. I'm going to have dugouts. I'm going to have a concession stand. I'm going to have a press box. And he looked at me, he goes, you are absolutely crazy. This will never, ever happen. And I said, why not? He goes, well, number one, we need all the land out here that we can get for the football practice field. And Mr. Bennett, I think you were the coach at the time. And I went, I don't care about the football practice field. I care about my field. Football has a field right over there. No, football has to have it in the fall. You have it in the springtime. I went, okay. So needless to say, I lost that battle. You see where the home plate is. But what they were doing, they smushed it back in the corner. I said, I have nowhere to put my press box. I don't, you know. So I lost that battle, but the one battle I did not lose is my dugouts.
They're beautiful. Beautiful.
They said, you know, it's 15 feet long enough? And I went, 15 feet? And I went, and I needed room, because the main thought I had, I wanted to be able to be close to my batter and close to the first base, so we could just run up and down inside the dugout and be legal and not step foot on the field. But when he said about the dugouts, and I said, well, how long are the baseball dugouts? And they said, well, they said 40 feet. I said, my dugouts, 40 feet. And today, I have two 40-foot dugouts. And I may say, at the time, nobody in the eastern part of the state had 40-foot dugouts for women. And of course, the vision kept going. We got the lights back up. And Roanoke Rapids was one of the first teams in the country, or in the conference, excuse me, to have night softball for the girls. And it was something I took a great pride in, getting it back to where it used to be. So we move on, and we're decorating, I wanted to get the field going. And I told Lynn we got to meet out here one weekend, and he goes, why? I said, we're going to do a field makeover. He goes, what do you mean a makeover? I said, we're going to do a little painting and do a little fixing up. And little did he know what I had planned as far as, we started painting. Sandy was here, and Lynn says, I don't paint. And I said, well, Sandy's gotten hurt. We had her hand bandaged up. And he goes, okay, for you, I'll do it. And Sandy and I stood back, and Lynn stood that paint in the bucket and started painting, and we were just laughing up and down. And then all of a sudden, Sandy took the bandage off her hand, and I said, Lynn, April Fool.
But y'all behind the dugout, I didn't see y'all laughing. Y'all hide from it.
But anyway, Lynn, he never knew that was just the first thing I wanted to do. I said, we're going to put some flags up here. We're going to put some flags, some pennants down the street. We're going to decorate the street here. Because I said, when people walk here, I want them to know they are in jacket softball country. And Lynn never once complained. Lynn was my honey-do list, from dragging the field, wetting the field, putting up the foul poles, taking down the foul poles, put up the fence, take down the fence. But one of the things that Lynn has, he's a connection man. Things that he could not do, he goes, I think I know somebody can do this. And he knew people in the community who to contact and who to get out here to get things done. And of course we had no budget to work with. But Lynn he knew exactly who to get and get things happen. And thank you, Lynn. Lynn and Patty both have been so instrumental in the program. And Patty, I cannot tell you how many times you probably had to get me out of trouble. And I would go to your room crying, Patty, I've really messed up this time. I think they're going to fire me. And she would say, no, and of course I'd be crying. And she'll, they're not going to fire you, won't we? Yeah, I really messed up this time. And she was always there for me. She never scolded me for some of the stupid things I did.
I kicked her under the table a couple times and stabbed me.
Yeah. So thank you to you two. Thank you for everything. Along with those two, thank you to Randy Wren, who is also instrumental in getting this whole thing going. And also Randy Wren with covering the sports programs for the kids, putting the kids out there where they can be seen in the public. There's one other person I want to mention a thank you to, and he's not here today, and it's Jimmy. Lynn's already spoke to Jimmy. But if you look over here behind Allison Matter, you'll see a chair, a shirt, a bat ball, and a wreath of flowers. And that spot was where Jimmy Evans would sit at during the games, because Jimmy was my pitching coach. He would sit at the end and give signals to my catcher. Jimmy had a full-time job here at the paper mill. He would take off work, take his comp time, take his vacation days to come here and be a part of the program, use his own gas money to travel to ball games. And people didn't know it, but he was a volunteer coach. He was never paid not one penny in the 16 years that he was here with the program. Sue, we miss Jimmy. We love Jimmy. Jimmy is here today. Thank you, Sue. The other people I like to recognize is my family. Believe it or not, I had a family. Even though I was never there for any holidays, you know, I missed Christmas, Easter. Why don't you come in Easter? We're in the softball tournament. Well, I mean, but Easter, I said, well, softball. I can't come home. But my family's here. If you would please stand up. I know you're probably embarrassed, but my family, I thank y'all. Family is so important, and I am so lucky to have the support and the family unit that I have. Although I will say, y'all think I'm bad. If you ever went to a ball game, my sister was there. Oh my God, don't sit near her. She's the worst cheerleader. Woo, 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 go, go, go. But a sister at heart. Okay. The other thing is, my regret is that my parents were not here to see this. My father was a sports person. My parents instilled us the philosophy of hard work. We were farmers growing up. I cannot say that's where I've got my work ethic from, is my father. He believed in hard work, and on a Saturday he would be going around paying the workers and everything, and back then, you know, I was sitting there and give out the money out of his cigar box, and I remember I said, Daddy, can I get paid for my work? And he reached in the box and he poured out a quarter. He goes, there you go. He goes, now when you go to the store and get your drink, he goes, be sure and bring me back that change. I went, yes, sir. But I wish Mama and Daddy were here today, and my brother Ricky. Daddy would be so happy. Yes. So the other thing I want to bring up is, you know, y'all met Tim Bennett, my AD. Tim and I have spent a lot of nights in that gym, late at night, nobody's around, lights are probably off. And he goes, Coach, we got to do stuff. I went, yes, it's time to go underneath the bleachers, Tim. You know, and we spent many hours under those bleachers. Scrubbing those hardwood floors. No drink spills. Coach, you gotta get them up. And I cannot tell you the hours we scrubbed those floors because they had to be cleaned before classes the next day. Thank you for those memories. Paige has already told you about the story about us, but the other story is she didn't tell you. It was that I taught her mama and her daddy, her mother. Her mother was what I call a rah-rah. A rah-rah is a cheerleader, and I went, okay, you can't run track, I guess you're going to be a rah-rah. And then Melly grew up and became from a Moore to a Lockerman. And then one day in the gym, I heard a basketball dribbling, and I walked in the gym and saw these two little kids, elementary kids, shooting the ball. And I'm like, who are y'all? And what are you doing in the gym? And of course it was Paige and Clay. And that was my first meeting of those two. But little did I know that that little girl would influence me many years later to be a better coach, to be a better person. Thank you, Paige. Now, Chris Lyons, you know, Chris was a student in my class, but he had to do, he got to class and he's right. I said, Chris, you know, you got all your work done? Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Of course, you know, his notebook, I was checking it. Kind of, well, Miss School, you sent me on the field that day. I couldn't do the work. Oh, okay, it's okay. You got it. Chris was the first guy. He would jump up and I go, Chris, I got a list. Because at game day, you know, you got to school, if it got a 4 o'clock game, you don't have any time to get things done. And Chris was always there, ready to go. What do you want me to do today? I'll go, Chris, we need to do this. Thank you, Chris. And now you're the head coach at Roanoke Rapids High School. I'm so proud of you. There are a lot of people I need to thank, and I'm sure if I start calling out names, I'm going to leave somebody off, I'm going to offend somebody, or even people that are not even here, they're no longer with us. But I cannot help but say the Roanoke Rapids High School Booster Club or Sports Club was so vital, and the bleachers, the screens, the lights. Without them, I would not have what we had here today. Councilman Tommy Daughters, you know, can you get the lights up? Yes, done. You know, one time we had a breakage in the line of the school board and it kept blinking, and I even, you don't know, gonna believe this, but I even got Glenn Ezel to come out here and start digging the line because we had to find a break. Thank you, Glenn. But what I really love Glenn for is that Glenn and Lynn took me rock fishing one day. And you never lived until you go rock fishing down at Weldon. And I was so excited. And they took me, and I remember when I got my first rock fish, I was like, oh my God, look at this fish. And I was like, it's a trophy. And of course, Glenn, you gotta throw it back. I'm not throwing back this fish. You gotta throw it back. It's, you know, they had a certain length, and fishermen, I know you're gonna correct me, but it's gotta be this length. It can't be this long, it can't be this short. And I went, I'm gonna take this thing home and eat it. He goes, you can't. He goes, they'll take my boat, they'll take my truck, they'll take everything. I said, that don't bother me, it's not on my truck.
I will interject. She said, I've had to throw fish back because they were too small. But I've never had to throw fish back because it was too large. She couldn't understand that.
No, I did not. I wanted to eat that thing. So this field and any facility cannot be possible without the community input, their help, their money, and this was because it was a community effort to get this to happen. Now, thank you so much. Julie, you know, you made a mistake of letting me come up here today. Because everybody knows they don't know what's going to come out, what's going to be said. And the good thing about today is you can't fire me. I don't work here anymore. So, I'll be careful. Everybody knows I was very guilty of pranks. You know, in my life, laughter has been you gotta have laughter. You gotta take time to smile and say, it's gonna be okay. And I was notorious for playing jokes all the time. Remember when somebody new would come or whatever, I would go in, Heidi Barker, Heidi, where you at? Heidi, she was hired as a secretary in the office and across from Miss Crane. And she was new, and I went in the office, and Miss Crane's over here, and Heidi Barker sitting over in the corner, straight up with a pad. I went, good Lord, that girl got a straight back. And of course, I went to her and I said, hello, welcome to Roanoke Rapids High School. I said, my name is Kathy Keeter. I teach English here. And she says, well, hello, Miss Keeter. I went, okay, let me know if you need anything. And I was always playing jokes like that. And one night in the concession stand, I didn't realize it, stupid me, but I met a parent. And she wanted, and I was in that mood. I said, who are you? I said, well, I'm Fred Davis's wife. Yeah, he was a new principal here. And I went, okay. Well, next I know, this lady grabbed me and was pulling me over here. This is Fred Davis's wife. And I was going, oh no, this is going to get me really in big trouble. And I was always doing things. Everybody knows that if you want to be roasted, just call me, because I can roast you. But the funniest thing about my roasting is often it's reality. It's things that are really happening. But I just put a little twist on it, maybe a little exaggeration. But that roasting is probably kind of got me in big hot water several times. So anyway, but the good thing is I don't work anymore. So last of all, it's already been done. But the main reason we're here, the main reason for the field, the main reason for the buildings, the main reason for anything is for the students, the kids, the players. And I know you've already been recognized one time, but I want you to stand up again, because playing ball for Carling Goodwin was not the easiest thing to do.
Wave over there.
Stand up, girls. These girls, they ran and they ran and they ran. They picked up buckets of rocks. And when we won a game, I was the first one to do a dance on the bus. And if we lost that game, you better not cry. I don't want to hear anything out of you. Sit down. There's nothing to be happy about. Sit down. I don't want to hear a word out of you. Girls, I thank you for the memories. I thank you for your dedication. I thank you. I am not worthy, but each one of you are so special to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
To the girls. Thank you. Last of all, I've been saying a lot of thank yous and a lot of things, but there's one person I haven't said anything about it. And every coach has that person that is the backbone. They will back you. They don't tell the stories that don't need to be told. And I have been so fortunate to have that person. Sandy Rose, you have been my ace in the hole. Sandy Rose helped paint buildings, concession stand with Sue, run stuff over here, grade my papers, recorded my grades, because I'm on the ball field. And the worst thing about it, she started to know the kids when she would come over here and goes, oh, I know you. You did bad on that test. And Sandy started writing notes to them. And I would go, Kim, come on, Miss Come, why did you say that? What did I say? But Sandy never knew what time I was coming home. There's always a hot meal in the microwave. Sandy taught me the value of AAA. I remember I was coming home one night, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had a flat tire on I-95. I didn't have a flashlight. Of course, I called Sandy, I said, Sandy, and of course she was asleep. I said, what are you doing? I said, can you come out here on I-95 and help me change my tire? I got a flat tire. The next day, when I got home from work, there was a note and a AAA membership. And a note, never call me again at 1 o'clock in the morning. Call AAA. Another thing I wanted to say thank you to Sandy. And if you know me, you understand this. But my biggest thank you is to you for buying me the John Deere lawnmower when we won a conference. I came home that night, and in my driveway is a John Deere lawnmower sitting there. And she goes, y'all won the conference chat? I went, yeah. She goes, John Deere. I went, thank you. Thank you, Sandy. There's much to be said, but let's stop. I love you. I thank you. Cannot tell you what this means to me. Thank you, Julie, the Board of Education. Have you lost your mind? But thank you so much for everything. And I love you. If you know me, particular teachers, often when you leave, I'll take the time to say, I love you. I don't think we said that enough as teachers. And I made it a point to look at them and say, I love you. And a lot of times, I think they would go, yeah, love you back. And I don't know. I love you. Understand that. I may not see you tomorrow. So, I love you. Thank you. There's one person I want to say thank you to. It can go on, but this was one of my special requests, because when Superintendent Thomason asked me what I want today, I went, I can have anything? Anything. It's your day. I went, okay. And I said, I want the band at my event. And she goes, the band? I went, yes, I love the band. Most importantly, Laura Avery, the band director. I taught her too. She was not a good student. She did not like to run. In PE, they had to do a 12-minute run, and I would look, and she would do this little pity pat. I went, Avery, pick up your feet. Well, Miss Goodwin, I feel sick. And? Miss Goodwin, I'm going to throw up. What? Throw up, but don't do it on the gym floor. But run. Laura Avery, you're a dear friend. You do an excellent job with these kids, and I love you. Thank you.
In closing, we would like to thank all of you for coming today. Today's events would not have been possible without our Board of Trustees, Roanoke Rapids High School alumni and friends, Randy Wren, Lynn and Patty Little, Lynch's Office Supply and Signs, Roanoke Rapids High School Administration, Athletic Department, Band, and JROTC, and our RRGSD maintenance staff, and right over here, Public Information Officer Mandy Clark did a great job of organizing everything. So thank you, Mandy. And of course, most importantly, let's give one more hand to Coach Carleen Goodwin. We hope that you've had a great afternoon and that you'll come again soon to Goodwin Field, home of the Yellow Jackets. At this time, all the speakers, Coach Goodwin, and any current or former Roanoke Rapids High School faculty, please go down to the sign for some pictures. Thank you all.